Hey, welcome to LZ23 Strength. I'm Steve. This is where we exert ourselves, we elevate our health, and we evolve in mind and body. And today, my question for you is: are you retired? Are you retiring coming in 2026? Are you retiring anywhere in the near future, or maybe 5, 10, 15 years from now? Whatever the case is, I'm going to be talking about an investment that is vital for every one of us, whatever stage we're at, where we're at, if we're retired or if we're just heading towards retirement, an investment that's vital. You might be thinking financial, and financially it is true. We certainly need good finances to set ourselves up to have a good and happy retirement. But just think if you were the best investor in the world, you were like a Warren Buffett or a Ray Dalio, and you had all the money in the world, but your health wasn't in order. You were sickly, you had aches and pains, your mobility wasn't at its peak. How much would all that money really help you to enjoy your retirement? It'd be kind of like a fantasy or an illusion. It would have some benefits, but certainly should stress to us how important it is to invest in ourselves, to invest in our health, so that retirement will be something that we truly look forward to and are able to enjoy to the full. That's what we really try to focus in on here is our health span and longevity. We want to have a long retirement, but we also want it to be a healthy one where we're mobile, we're independent, we're able to go on vacations and hikes, you're able to get on the ground with your grandchildren, pick them up, you're able to carry groceries, get in and out of the car, bike ride, golf, all sorts of things, whatever suits your fancy, that you're able to do it because you invested in your health. Your quality of life and your quality of retirement is something that's truly vital. So it's not just financial. We certainly want our finances to be in order, but physically, mentally, emotionally, all these things come into play to have a healthy and happy retirement to look forward to. And it really is a mindset shift for us in our belief system right now, whatever stage we're at, to say we need to do that just as much as, because the compounding interest that's talked about for financial, there's compounding interest that comes into play for our health and the benefits that align with that. And why that's important is because right now there's a big gap, and it keeps growing, between health span and lifespan. The average lifespan in the United States for an American is 77 years old, but the average health span is 64. And that's referring to being in good health, not having chronic sickness, chronic ailments, mobility issues, anything related to health. The average is 64 years, where Americans start to lose some of that. So putting the numbers in there, that's about 13 years. You're over a decade of dealing with health issues. That doesn't sound like a great retirement, especially the fact 64. Many people retire at 65, so they're already heading out the door, having some of these things, heading into retirement. So we want to be proactive. We want to do what we can now. Personally, I'll be 61 in a few weeks. I'm hoping to retire in a couple of years, very shortly, and I want to go into it being at my best. And that's what I want for you folks too. Health span decline is really influenced by a number of factors. Some of it is sedentaryism. That's something that here in the United States and around the world, many people are sedentary. There's obesity issues, chronic inflammation, and a lot of these things we can do something about. There's things that we can actually put in play to alleviate. Or just let me give you one quick statistic. I just heard a recent study, and it was a cohort of 70-year-olds, and it said that 70% plus put in no time, no thought on any day to trying to be healthier, to exercise, to work out, for movement, health related things. They don't think about it, and that's not part of their daily routine. So that, to me, that's sad and shocking, because really at any age we can do things. Remember what we always say here: movement means life. And now if somebody's 70, retired anywhere along there, unless you have some major health issues, you have all the time now to be able to move. Walking can be an everyday thing, several times a day. Um, I I've talked to a few individuals at the gym that have turned 65. They've got memberships in multiple gyms because it's covered through Medicare. So that there's so many opportunities, but we have to have that belief system that we can change ourselves and do something about our situation. So whatever age you're at, don't think, well, this is it. This is it. I'm just gonna slowly decline. And some people have a harsh reality of it's not a slow decline, it's a rapid one. But it doesn't have to be that way. We can do things to overcome that. Some of the things, obviously, as we just said, is physical activity. And we're going to talk a little bit about it later too. Right now we're focusing all our attention on our physical health and well-being and movement, but cognitively, that's something that dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, all these things that are related to cognitive decline and sickness, these things are all on the rise at an alarming rate. So that's another aspect that we have to worry about in the future. But again, what we do now, if we're trying to take care of our health, remember the four pillars, they definitely come into play here. The first pillar dealing with exercise, working out, walking, movement. The second one dealing with sleep. Sleep has a major impact on all aspects of our health, from our weight to our mood to cognitive health. Sleep is, don't take it for granted just because we've been sleeping our whole lives that we're doing it right, that we can't make it even better. So that's another area. And diet and nutrition, obviously, examining that, seeing what we can do, the amount of food we're having, what kind of food, are we incorporating a lot of healthy foods that are going to help us. It's going to be a physical and a mental benefit by doing that. And then finally, social connections. I mentioned this in a previous video. As you get older, it's kind of harder in some ways. I don't know if our moods get different, but we need to constantly work at relationships, whether it's in the family, friends, and then even such things as having a sense of purpose, which for many individuals, it might mean something slightly different or majorly different, but having a sense of purpose in life. Those four pillars are going to help you to have a healthy retirement. So whether you're retiring right now, or it's 5-10 years from now, or you're already retired, we can still focus on these, give them attention, and they can make a huge difference in how you live your retirement. In talking about health span versus lifespan, it's important to prepare for a longer retirement. So obviously all the focus, and you'll see a million videos on YouTube and news articles and things dealing with the financial aspect, which is vital, because healthcare costs is one of the struggles that retirees have to deal with and try to plan for. It's said that the average person in retirement will spend about $165,000 out of pocket on healthcare. That's not even counting long-term care. If somebody towards the end of their later years needs to be in a nursing home or have nursing care, that's a whole separate issue. So 165,000, and that, with inflation and everything and the way health costs are going, that's only going to skyrocket. So obviously you need to be financially ready for that, but then if you take care of our health, maybe we can keep some of those costs down. So the benefits are even there. Obviously we'll feel better, we'll enjoy life better, but even financially we could help ourselves by not needing as much in that aspect. And then all of this has a direct impact on the quality of life. in enjoying our retirement, one of the main things as we get older is want to maintain independence. And that's one thing talk about my mom. I'm going to probably have you meet her one day in the near future, but she's almost 88. She'll be 88 in January. And she's had a pretty good run as far as being independent. She drove up until the age of 87 and lived on her own, still lives on her own. And those kind of things, she's able to get around. Things are harder for her. She's had some physical issues and health issues, but independence, not having to rely on the other individuals, is certainly something that we should all strive for and want. And even in her later years, not more recently, but prior, she was able to still travel. And we want to be able to enjoy things as we get older. So the quality of life, remember, we want to not only live longer, but we want to live stronger. We want to be better. So that's where we're focusing attention on, investing in ourselves. And we talked about relationships. When you need a caregiver, whether that's a family member, a spouse, or others, we want to keep relationships. That's another area. Think of relationships with our family and friends, but knowing that somebody's going to have to take care of us, we want to be able to have good relationships with folks. You want somebody taking care of you and they can't stand being around you. So we all need to work on our personalities so that we're not of that sort, that people enjoy being around us. So invest in your health. We're still dreaming and looking forward to it. There's still time then. That's a good thing. If we have time, the more time you can have, it applies in a financial sense. The more time you have ahead to invest in stocks and bonds and what have you, then you have a longer runway for that to grow in the sense of money and finances for you. The same thing for our health span and longevity. If we're in our 30s or 40s, boy, we can do a lot. But even if we're getting closer, 50s or 60s, there's still things that we can do. And even if you've retired, it's never too late. Even somebody who's in their 80s or 90s can take small steps every day to improve their health and well-being. So it's worth our effort. We have to just think about it. It's not at the top of our list often. At the top of our list, we might be complaining about finances, complaining about our health. But are we thinking about the proactive and positive things that we can do in these regards? We do have a measure of control. A lot of people think, well, aging is normal. I've told you before, I don't like that normal part. It is, but how we age doesn't have to be a certain way that we see. And also thinking that we're doomed because of our parents' genetics that we've inherited, or DNA. Well, there's so much research and studies out there that propose 90% of it is in our control. So we might have certain genes that predispose us to certain ailments or certain things, but 90% of it is in our control. What we eat, how we sleep, how we take care of ourselves, how we move physically. So investing in ourselves, we have to have that mindset that we don't want to feel helpless. We have the power to make it better. Obviously, things are going to happen and how they turn out, but we don't have to be sedentary. And even obesity, while some folks really might struggle with that area, a lot of it we can change. There's so much, even now with the GLP-1s, there's so much research going into a lot of those new things that are coming out that can help individuals. So just remember that the power is in your hands to do a lot better. We can do things. I want to finish up by just talking about this article that I just read about the Healthspan dilemma, and it's coming from the female side, a woman writing some thoughts, and it's interesting, just for education purposes, helps us to wrap our minds around some of the things that all of us deal with. So women kind of won the longevity lottery in that they average lifespan is 6 years longer than men. The only problem with that, there's upside with that, and there's a dark side of that, and that women seem to get sicker than men in their last years. So between the health span and lifespan gap, it's possible that women are going to have 12 to 14 years of cascading poor health. That is, if we don't invest in ourselves and invest in our health. So again, it can make it harder to live independently, enjoy your favorite activities. So just remember, again, there's something that we can do about it. It's not set in stone. And retiring and aging, it doesn't have to be a horrible thing. A lot of people will say that, and I've said it at times. I've heard people say the golden years aren't so golden. Well, a lot of it can be why is it that way? Is it because of our actions? We know that there's no one magical pill or miracle pill or supplement that's going to give you long-lasting health, but certainly our activities, the 4 pillars that I mentioned earlier, can go a long way to improve our health and well-being, whether we're 40 or we're 80. So keep that in mind always, the 4 pillars, to strive to do better in those areas. Those are the levers that we want to pull, and they can give us a good health span and longevity at the same time. And as I mentioned earlier, the things like dementia, Alzheimer's, something else that older folks have to worry about is falling. Things that are going to help us. I have videos on these. Leg strength. Leg strength is important as you age, being able to get up and off of a chair, in and out of bed, in and out of a car. A lot of that has to do with leg strength and balance, and from exercising and working out, that's going to have a lot to do, not only with your physical health, but even the cognitive. And the videos that I've made before talk about that. So with our minds, we want to keep them engaged, do puzzles, learn a musical instrument, learn a new dance, learn a new language. Keep challenging your mind. Maybe write some poetry, write a story, write a book. There's so many things that we can do to keep the mind engaged. Just staring at a television screen, that's not the answer. Sitting in our rocking chair or recliner watching television, that's certainly not the answer. But we want to remain active in our mind, active in our body, and that will certainly make a huge difference in our retirement. So those are just some thoughts that I wanted to share with you folks, and hope that you hit the like button. Hope you subscribe. We have a lot of content that we want to share with you, and helping to have a good health span along with longevity. Those 4 pillars that I mentioned before, we incorporate those, it's going to do wonders for you. Take control, invest in yourself, and we'll talk to you soon. Exert yourself, elevate your health, and evolve in mind and body, and take care.